My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Central Hill Road, Edgar, Mississippi, 38841. I'm under attack by Scientology. They are driving parasites through me and my family, through our biologies. I can also hear their voices. They are extremely hostile and demeaning. They keep threatening me and my family. They harass me constantly. They are stealing my intellectual property. I write literature. So, yes, they have installed technology inside of my brain, and they've also removed brain tissue and installed it into a machine. Now, this is extra dimensional brain tissue. I'll explain how it works. Yes, I'm in very much pain. They just moved worms through my brain. I am very sick and in pain. Yes, I've yelled at these people a lot because I'm being assaulted. It hurts very much. And I'm afraid of fearing for my life, me and my family's life. Oh, I'm in pain. They just drove worms. They act like they can punish me for everything that I do. Smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee, eating. They act like they can punish me because they say I'm in a hive mind, which is true, but it is against my will. If they want to read my thoughts to steal my intellectual property, because I'm a philosopher and a literary genius. Yes, I'm in pain a lot. So I've been to the hospital and gotten scans. Half of the scans are missing. They don't work. They are faulty files. Some of them are clear. I don't understand it because I do have parasites, big ones. So they must be extra dimensional. Either that or they lied at the hospital, which is very much a possibility. These people have made so much money from me that they are investing a lot of money back into this whole ordeal about kidnapping me, modifying my environment, and afflicting the people that I'm affiliated with, including my doctors, the law enforcement, yes, and the Department of Justice and the military. Everyone's involved. Scientology has taken over the world, and this is how it works. There's more space in the universe than humans can see. There are extra dimensions, 11 in total. They reside within the particle itself. So the particles we are made of, there is an inside to them. It looks like inward expansion. There is inside. There is a place inside of the particles. Please stop talking. Yes, he says no. No. You are breaking the law. Okay, so we call this the inverse. It is literally a world inside of the particles in which we consist of. You can consider our third dimensions as a shell. We are just the outside of something more. There is an internal world in our universe. We call it the inverse. So you can think of it as inward expansion. That we expand inward, also outward. So there are 11 dimensions. That means there is extra space in the universe. We have biology in these extra dimensions. We have extra dimensional biology inside of us. So, from what I have observed, the human genome produces an 11 dimensional organism with a myelin sheath and horns on our head. We are Anunnaki. We are of the Anunnaki bloodline. That is our inverse biology. It's hard to believe, but it's true. See, when we die, we actually fly into outer space. We leave this biology. Our consciousness moves into our inverse. It's already there all the time. We literally fly off into outer space when we die. Or there are people here that help us off our bones. If you're healthy, though, in a healthy environment, you literally blast off into outer space when you die. That sounds crazy, but it's true. I have witnessed it. I have experienced it because Scientology has messed with my extra dimensions. They have ordained me. I'm very sick. Yes, they just assaulted me. So we have biology in the extra dimensions, extra dimensional biology. We utilize it to have an afterlife. Scientology is the practice of utilizing your extra dimensions before you die. So they remove it from themselves and they turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle. That means they go to heaven before they die. They utilize technology and techniques to access the upper dimensions. So while they are still among the living, they close their eyes or they go to sleep and they literally go to heaven. So they are in both places at once. I just got assaulted bad. I hope they're inverse worms. So that means they can come out. They called me a monster at the hospital. They gave me my files. I went to get all of my x-rays, and the file is named Monster. I guess because I'm so stressed out when I go in there. No, I never yell at people. I'm like, I need ivermectin. I need antiparasitic. No, I don't scream. These people are trying to create a false narrative, which says I'm a bad person somehow. So when you're getting a worm driven through your brain, you're not right. You don't act right. You're all stressed out. So Scientology utilizes our extra dimensions before we die. They use technology and techniques to turn their extra dimensions into a vehicle in which they drive around. So when they remove their extra dimensions and they access outer space, they go to outer space, leave the Earth. They expand at a greater rate than we do here on Earth. They grow and they become big compared to us. I'm very. Please leave. Get away from me. So this technology that they use, it allows them to do several things. It is a biotechnology, which means that it is a digital device that interfaces with our brain and central nervous system. They literally stick digital devices in our brains and all over our nerves for simulation and for to access at upper dimensions. So first I have to talk about the entanglement property. There's an entanglement property between our third dimensions and our inverse. So if you remove inverse tissue from our biology, it acts as if it never leaves. You are still in this tissue, even if it leaves you, especially brain and central nervous system. So they can literally remove part of your brain and you are still in it. No matter how far away it goes, you're still in it. What happens is you can't remove energy from our particles. It causes a warp in space time. If you could actually remove energy, our particles would collapse. They would just be destroyed. Space time starts to warp and shrink in between the distance of our removed brain tissue and us. So there's an entanglement property. So first off, they like to remove brain tissue, and they have a compound in which they house body parts, especially brain tissue. So They remove brain tissue or other body parts, and they stick it into a little pod or a box, and they install it into a computer system. We are still entangled in it. We are still in that brain piece. This is part of their hive mind technology. And then they link it to a computer system. From there, they can interact with each other in a digital landscape. They can communicate with each other, and they can interact with each other. They can even have sexual relations with each other. And then they use this as a control center to access their upper dimensions, to drive their upper dimensions. And then this technology is also used on our third, whatever's left after they remove tissue. So they actually install or interface digital devices with our brain tissue and our central nervous system. From there, they can link us to a computer system. Okay, they can isolate individual neurons and thought patterns and neural connections and stimulate this brain tissue, this area of our brains. So they can make you experience a memory or make you have a thought pattern. They can actually control your thoughts. They can also stimulate other areas of the brain. They can stimulate our emotional center. They can make you cry, or feel joy or pleasure. They can make you hear things and see things and smell things and taste things. And we can see what each other sees, taste what each other tastes, and feel what each other feels with this technology. Yes, they have installed every type of technology they have. I'll tell you why in a minute. So this is part of their technology. It also allows them, it gives them the ability to create surrogates. So surrogates is a biology that is not your own and which you can drive. They drive other organisms. They can drive humans, animals, insects, and worms in any dimension utilizing this technology and techniques. So they mess with our upper dimensions to create surrogates using technology and techniques. And this technology also artificially stimulates brain tissue. So they can elevate neurochemicals. They actually run energy through our neurons, and it has a neurochemical response, or it induces neurochemical metabolism, which means it elevates neurochemistry. It forces our neurons to produce neurochemistry. So it elevates dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and other neurochemicals. It has an extremely narcotic effect upon the user. They get whacked out in the hive mind constantly, all the time, and they don't even sleep properly. So when they sleep, they actually go to outer space. They inhabit their upper dimensions. These people never turn off. We don't sleep good. I'm a different case. I won't allow them to do to me what they do to themselves. They're literally driving each other. They turn each other into surrogates. They allow computers, a person controlling their computer, to uh, to stimulate thought patterns and to control a person's thoughts and behaviors. I won't allow it. I raise hell. That's why they say I'm mean. I scream at these people constantly. Get it out. Get it out of me. Yes, they like to stick shit inside of us. So these people are conditioned to remove body parts. They literally remove brain tissue and body parts for a living. First of all, to practice Scientology. So they help people access the upper dimensions. They remove their dead person or their upper dimensions, their inner dimensions. They turn it into a vehicle for these people. They do this constantly, or they create surrogates. They are body parts mongers. They think body parts are a commodity. They are an object in which they use for their employment and their hobbies, which is practicing Scientology and creating surrogates. So these people are extremely criminal. It is literally a criminal enterprise. They are forcing people to practice Scientology, or they are practicing Scientology on people while they are unaware. So companies like Facebook or other social medias, marketing companies, and the government is removing people's brain tissue in mass. They're doing this to a large percentage of the population and installing it into their computer system to read our thoughts and to try to control us. They are addicted to it because this technology is having a narcotic like effect on these people. So, this behavior, coupled with their criminal activity and their induced flow states, it is causing extremely negative psychology and behavior within these people. They are psychotic and delusional. They have an occult behavior. They are very religious. They have a God complex. See, this pertains to the afterlife. So they think they are God above the law. They are very irritable. They get extremely mad because they have elevated dopamine levels. They are jealous and petty and greedy and machoistic. And they paparazzi people, people of interest, famous people. They stick to them, won't leave them, and practice Scientology on these people. So they are guilty of crimes like kidnapping. They force assimilation upon people. So they force people to assimilate into their hive mind, or they steal biology from people, especially brain tissue. They do things like invade homes and businesses, is to try to control the environment in these places or to gather information. They like biological theft is rampant among these people. They like to torture and rape people. Some of them have a uh, an addiction to people that they are attracted to. So they steal biologies and force assimilation upon people they are attracted to for sexual purposes and for to be around them. They are twacked out of their minds. They get addicted to people. Yes, they think they're above the law. These people are practicing Scientology en masse, especially social media and the marketing companies and big tech. So they like to sabotage people's lives. If you are not, if you are against their agenda or a threat to their agenda, or if you are a person they don't like, or just a person that has offended them in some way, they sabotage your life, which ends up in probably rape and torture and murder. This is a Scientology. They like to poison people with parasites and microbes and viruses because they can drive these organisms through our biologies for torture, rape, for torture and murder. So they use biological weapons. I have evidence that says they are guilty of the coronavirus. They are responsible for the COVID outbreak. So they can spread these parasites and diseases using other organisms. They like to use cats and dogs. They like to flies, use insects. So they actually fly houseflies and drop loads in your drink. Just drop it on people. Yes, I'm extremely sick. I have extremely damaged brain tissue. So last night, they actually removed the lower portion of my brain. So my medulla, and in front of my medulla, I think it was inverse tissue. So we utilize this area, or they utilize this area of our brain for inner voice. They actually install digital devices around our medulla or in our medulla, and it gives us an inner voice. So we stimulate uh, these digital devices, and it allows us to communicate with each other. Yes, they've been manufacturing and modifying evidence, the information coming out of our uh, hive mind tech. Everybody's communicating with each other, seeing each other's thoughts and voices, and they think they can record this information and modify it or manufacture it, and then punish somebody for a bad thought. You are lying. Plus, you are breaking the law. You're talking to me right now. You don't understand human behavior or psychology. You can't make people hear voices, especially if these voices want to kill you. Yes, they have been extremely hostile. So I used to be a political activist on Facebook. I was very political. I had a large following. We discussed and debated policy and lawmaking and elected officials, and we participated in politics. So we persuaded elections and lawmaking, and we discussed environmental issues, and we had a big effect on government. Yes, I'm very intelligent. I guess I did become a person of interest, but I'm also a literary genius. I wrote a lot. I inspired a lot of people, and I help people gain ideas and write their own books. And when I come on the scene, everybody started writing, and I enjoyed this. So somebody decided to assimilate me. They forced me to assimilate. So they removed brain tissue, or they stuck devices in my brain that uh, recorded my thoughts and my vision and my hearing, hive mind technology. And they started reading my thoughts, civilians and the government. These people were attracted to me, attracted to my genius, my intelligence, my ability to participate in politics, to actually change some things, and my literature. People started stealing my intellectual works right off the bat. I do philosophy and I write and I work on things. People in the hive. Then communication was hostile. These people were hostile and mean right off the bat. They started trying to control me, tell me what to do, how to do my job, when I could go to the bathroom, when I could take breaks. I wasn't having it. I told them to get the hell away from me. Stop this, whatever it is. I had no knowledge of the extra dimensions or this kind of technology. Yes, the voices were coming. I was not hearing internal voices at the time. Maybe I did. I have one memory of it or two memories of seeing things and hearing things, but then it went away. Whenever it first happens, it's hard to understand it. It's hard to believe it's reality. You think you just had a bad thought or a weird thought, an invasive thought or something. You don't know it's actually stimulation or a device. Yes, they started communicating with me, mostly through the radio. They gave me special phones, or they hijacked my radio and television and digital devices. Some of the people were nice, but most of them were hostile. I just got a death threat. Someone said you just lost your life. I don't care who you are. You're breaking the law. You are getting people hurt that way. If I wasn't so stoic and actually worked on my psychology, this could be a threat. It is a threat to human life. They don't. They not only do me, they do everybody around me. They've done this to my family, my friends, my coworkers, my neighbors, my community, the local police. Everywhere I go, the local police gets ordained. They start acting strange. Yes, the FBI, anybody affiliated with me or my case. I guess I got a case or a this is a case. Scientology mishap. So this whole ordeal turned into exploitation and intellectual property theft. So they started allowing other people to read my mind. Then it turned into reading it for a fee. I became very ill. I started feeling things inside of me, inside deep inside of my ear, in my head, in my face. My whole head swelled up. So I started going to the hospital, getting scans done. They didn't see anything, but it was there. Then intellectual property theft continued. Everything I worked on got stolen or used. She says not everything, but yeah. People were here because they were attracted to my psychology. As time went on, communication got worse. They caused accidents to happen. They literally caused uh, wrecks. They crashed my vehicles. As soon as I got a new vehicle, they crashed it again. They got people to ask me for a ride. And literally, we get going down the road and a cow runs out in front of me and bam, destroyed my brand new car. It's an accident. No, I'm fixing to tell you how it happened in a minute. These people are playing God. Scientology. These people asked for a ride that led to a vehicle accident, a freak accident. And what's crazy is some of the Hive members they actually sent me surrogates, or women flocked to me. I had girlfriends all over the place. Some of these people are nice, and some are mean. It's turned into angels and demons. That's what they call it. One person tries to kill me, and the other person tries to save my life. So the more that I wrote, the more intellectual property theft happened. Now I've been writing my whole life. I was writing before this ever started. The same content, trying to save the world, trying to alter our government, fix our government. Just the same old do-gooder bullshit. We're trying to remove corruption and trying to elect good people and to fix our laws. It's like, increased wages, health care for all, maybe even food stamps, affordable housing, good environmental uh, control. So I wrote Crazy Bird Comics. I wrote the Environment Creation Agency. I wrote Divine Currency. Boy, and then they started sticking shit in my head big time after that happened. They tried to control my mind. Well, first off, they tried to tether me to another human being. So they tried to make the words that I spoke and the thoughts that I created come out of somebody else's head and mouth. They're doing this all over the place. Yes, their technology is not having an effect on my output in any way. So whoever's in charge of the God, he won't allow it to happen because I'm so valuable. I am literally a literary genius, an intellectual. No, I'm not being artificially stimulated. If I am, it's menial. I stay so stressed out all the time. My brain is always stimulated. I don't consent to you messing with my biology or driving me in any or driving my parasites. It just causes sickness. Please stop driving my parasites. I don't need to get them out. I need to take an antiparasitic and a dip, an antiparasitic bath. Stop driving my parasites. No, they tried to drive me once, tried to control my behavior back when I had a lot of biology. They tried to get me to commit a crime, drug use. I was very aware that they were driving me, but I was inebriated. I was around other people. Dude, somebody gave me something to drink. I don't know why I drank it. I'm hung ho like gung ho like that. I don't give a shit. They was playing me. Then they tried driving me one night. They actually did when I got on fire. So as time went on, this became biological theft. After intellectual property theft, it turned into biology theft. They literally started removing my interdimensional brain tissue and using it for a transplant for themselves. So this is Scientology. Whenever we create our interdimensions, it happens in threes. So our bio energy is interdimensional. Our biology flows into the next three dimensions and it creates a biology, another human, a humanoid. But then there's more dimensions. So it starts to flow into the other dimensions and it creates another humanoid. It's a layer. So every time it crosses the boundary, it creates another layer. So they wind up with three layers in outer space. And the whole thing creates an Anunnaki, a creature that can fly through outer space. That is our afterlife. So Scientologists like to cut our biologies, their biologies, every three dimensions. They cut themselves. So they wind up with three dimensions. They like to pull the layers apart. And then they sell these layers to the individual for based on a scale. So if you don't have a lot of money, you just get your first layer. That's all you get. If you have more money, you get your second layer. If you have even more money, you get your upper layer. But they're cleaved. So they chop themselves to pieces, but they can't survive this way. This biology can't function being cut to pieces. So they have to use organs and tissues from other humans and species to try to keep themselves alive and function properly. They like to use organs from humans, from reptiles or lizards, insects, and worms. So these Scientologists, they turn their biologies into lizard people or insectoids. They use bug body parts or worm people. They make worm gods. And then there's the alien form. So we get Scientology is creating lizard people, insectoids, and worm body or worm gods, worm humans, and then alien forms. So they can literally remove other people's brain tissue and utilize it for themselves or other people's organs. And that's what they did to me. They became so attracted to my ability to create, to write literature, and to uh, lead the public, to persuade people to participate in politics. They became addicted to this behavior and they got to experience it with this mind reading technology. Everybody bought into it. Yeah, so they literally started removing brain tissue and organs to use for transplants in their own biologies. Then they use some of it for surrogate purposes. And then they use some of it for a torture device. So this turned into a snuff film. These people are addicted to torturing people. Scientology has torture and rape victims all the time. Don't tell me what to do. Get out of my house. Yes, I'm very sick. So they think they're going to kill me, steal my intellectual property, and get away with it. And they're treating this as a Christian martyrdom. They think they can make this a Christianity story, get away with it. Because their saviors, Christianity saviors, somehow absolves everyone from their sins. Jesus died and forgave everybody for his sins. But this is America. This ain't the Middle East, bro. We have laws here. I don't care who you are, what you are. You have to abide by the law. Christianity is easily created. You can find any scientist or environmentalist or politician trying to save the world and name him Christopher and then call him a martyrdom, steal his shit and kill him, and then say, oh, everybody's forgiven because this is Christianity. I'm not a Christian. I am native. I am part Native American. I denounce all religions. I came from people that built temples. We did not worship the gods. We had a relationship with them. We knew them. We communicated with them. We didn't create some religion to revolve around them. We practiced what was real, and we called it the unknown. We can't see everything. Yes, I am a literary genius. So I wrote Crazy Bird Comics. I wrote The Environment Creation Agency. I wrote Divine Currency or Buffalo Dollars. I wrote Alien Bob, Bug Bob, and several others. They got to witness me writing it, or the end of it. I've been writing this my whole life, adding little pieces here and there for the last 20 years, 25 years. Yes, I've been developing my writing skills and writing things a little bit here and there, here and there. Crazy Bird and all my intellectual content is a result of a lifelong uh, hobby of creating literature. Yes, it didn't just happen like that. I've been doing it my whole life. So, and here is the most important aspect about this. Our third dimensions see time as a linear event. We see the days passing one after another after another. So we see seconds and minutes and hours. Time is actually a simultaneous event. The days don't happen linear. Seconds and minutes and hours don't exist. It is an illusion. Time is a simultaneous event. That means the past, the present, and the future happen at the same time. Yesterday is happening right now, so is tomorrow. It's all happening right now. The whole thing, from the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe, it is happening at the same time. That means the beginning and the end of the universe happen simultaneously. Dead people and Scientologists get to participate in the universe or interact with it as a simultaneous event. That means at this very moment they are assimilating me, which now it makes sense why they were so hostile because this event was happening 13 years ago. Is they put me in a hive and started killing me. I had no idea why. I'm not doing anything wrong. I was working in a machine shop making parts, doing my job. And at this very moment, they are driving my father in the hospital, giving me the name Christopher so they can call this a Christian story. Yes, my father is a surrogate, or at least a constituent. He has been extremely afflicted our entire lives. He beat the hell out of everybody around him. Their surrogates are so violent. He screamed at the top of his lungs to every family member we had and got into fist fights with everybody around him. Are all of our family members our neighbors? He gave me a severe stress disorder. He's got a big skull and bones tattoo on one side, then eagle feathers and the tree of life on the other. He has no idea about my intellectual property, my intellectual work. And these people all the time are giving me skull and bones symbols. Skull and Bones and the Freemasons. I guess they have the most power up here. Or here's the thing: the people that have the most power are affiliated with everything. I am very sick. I have experienced severe brain damage. Right before I made this video, I was getting better. Everything was going all right. Bam, they started hitting me. Some girl from the National Guard, some girl from the military, affiliated with the military and DARPA. They're all affiliated together. Get away from me. You're breaking the law. It is none of your business what I do in my own house. I can smoke all I want to. They assault me for smoking cigarettes, tobacco, and drinking coffee. So I like to sit there in my chair beside my heater and drink coffee and smoke cigarettes and just think about life. Sometimes I watch TV. I'm a red-blooded American. That's what we do down here. We drink coffee and smoke cigarettes. Yes, sometimes we drink a beer. And yes, sometimes some of us even smoke a little weed. It is none of your business. I'm not doing anything illegal. There is nothing illegal going on in my home. If there is, call the cops. Call the cops and tell them what's going on. I have a relationship with the local authorities. If they show up, they're going to send me to the hospital again. That's what they do. They never take me to jail. They send me to the hospital. I got worms and I'm hearing voices. Oh, this is Scientology. Humans on Earth are accessing the upper dimensions, playing God on the human race. Yes, they are stealing people's body parts in mass, either to for hive mind purposes, to try to control and read people's minds, or to practice or for surrogate making. So they need human body parts for their Scientology purposes. They do this to humans, lizards, bugs, worms. Even lizards, bugs, and worms have rights. You can't fuck with them either. Oh, I'm in pain. Yes, they put me among the gods. People practicing Scientology. He or she said they already did it. So they're using my extra dimensions as a torture device. Yes, I have an addiction to tobacco. I have quit several times, but your assaults never stopped. No, they didn't. I've quit smoking several times because my life depended on it. And they never stopped assaulting me. They continued. And I got mortal wounds at that time, severe wounds. They removed more tissue. This is intellectual property theft. So Scientology exploits people. If in this government or in this country, if you have any influence, power, or authority, or if you become attractive to the public, they force assimilation upon you. They like to kidnap people and make them familiars or constituents, little surrogate people. Like in my case, yes, they want to drive. They want to do it themselves. Well, this guy's writing awesome literature. He's controlling the government. I want to do it myself. They like to control people down here. They keep trying to pass off some false narrative which says I've done something wrong that somehow validates or excuses their criminal behavior towards me and my family and the people around me. She said, there's a class action lawsuit against you. No, there's not. Okay, then come serve me papers. I am a third dimensional human. I am among the living. I have rights. Read the Constitution of the United States. Yes, you are a foreign and domestic enemy that has lost their right to live. If you break into someone's home, you get killed. It is home invasion with criminal intent, especially if it leads to murder. That is capital punishment. You are you are eligible for capital punishment. I'm doing nothing wrong. Get out of my home. One said he's going to die. Yes, they are body parts mongers. They consider body parts as a commodity. Since he's so intelligent, they want the ability to rule the world. This started 13 years ago when on social media. So social media and the marketing companies are stealing people's brain tissue and assimilating it or installing it into their computer system in the inverse. They actually have compounds in the extra dimensions that house people's body parts. They have little pods or little boxes they stick your body parts in. Then they install it into a machine and hook you up to a computer. So they actually run electrodes and little digital devices into your brain tissue because there's an entanglement property between our third and our inverse. And they can read your thoughts or let you access the hive mind. I think they had remote digital devices on me most of my life. They actually read my mind via a wireless uh, device. They call it a preservation box. They actually cut your brain open and shove this big box down inside of your head all the way to your thalamus so it can see what you see. And they record your vision your whole life with a goddamn box stuck down inside of your head, an interdimensional box. And that's what they gave me most of my life. Scientology causes sickness and dysfunction. People get sick as fuck whenever you cut their brains out and stick shit inside of us. Foreign objects. They think they got the goods. They got to read my mind their whole life, and I'm an intellectual genius or a literary genius. Philosophy and my thoughts are so valuable. I think about the universe and the planets and the animals, and I see buffaloes and horses and atom symbols and new civilizations. I dream about